Hey everybody, welcome back to the Renewed Homestead. We've got a video about composting for you. You're going to have to allow us a little grace here. We had some audio difficulties, some video difficulties, so we're doing our best to piece it together for you, but it's important. There's some good information in there, so hope you learn something and enjoy as best you can. So deer season is open for black powder and archery, and our neighbors got a deer. So they got the choice cuts of meat that they wanted and asked if we wanted the remainder of the carcass. Sure enough, I mean, we use the heart and the kidneys and any scraps of meat we can, grind that up for our dog food. But then what do you do with all the extra? You got skin, bones, skull, and the rest of the innards. Well, a lot of people say don't compost them. Well, thanks to our friends over at Permapastures Farm, we are semi-experts at making compost, particularly Denise. She is really good at it. I just follow in orders. So anyway, we have deer guts and we are getting ready to compost them. So yeah, I know, not very appetizing, but anyway, that deer, like we say, we respect the animals. We want to use every single part of them for meat, and anything that's left gets composted, and that will become our food for next year. That way nothing goes to waste.
And our food's food.
And our food's food. So there you have it. I'm gonna build another compost pile. Okay, disclaimer, this is the head of the deer that we're putting into this compost pile, so just be forewarned. And this is actually the first deer that they killed earlier in the week that we had gleaned the meat from and so forth. And so we're just getting around to getting this in a compost pile. But Denise did want me to mention that we are proficient at making compost, not semi-expert. But thanks to Permapastures Farm, we are so far ahead of what we would have been. All right, so hopefully you stuck around, because you never know when we're going to spring a tip or a warning on you. You only want to do this with the hot compost. This will not work with cold compost. You will call in every predator within 5 miles of your house if you try to do this cold, because it's going to rot and stink. So anyway, we will get this covered up and let it start cooking down. All right, welcome back to day 5, right?
Yeah, we tried to do day 3, but we had audio problems.
We did do day 3, you just couldn't hear us.
Yes.
So
we decided to bring you along on day 5.
Yep, gonna turn this, and as you know, we've got deer parts and pieces in here, so anytime you have meat, it is very important to keep this turned frequently. We turned it at day 3, now we're turning it again 2 days later.
Yeah, and it's important to turn it. It'll get too hot if not. Whenever you put in like chicken innards or deer innards, it will heat it up really quickly, and you don't want it to get too hot or it will kill the microbiota.
Proteins will do that.
Yes, so well, on nitrogen.
Well, the nitrogen, yeah.
Yeah.
And you definitely can't compost meat in a cold compost pile. It's got to be hot compost.
Yeah, so we're not talking steaks, like you didn't eat enough steak. We're talking like when you're processing chickens or deer or whatever. So,
parts and pieces and guts.
Yes,
so,
and as you can see, this is steaming, so it's nice and hot. So we're gonna go ahead and turn it.
Get it flipped. The sun's going down. We've got another pile we got to turn too, so let's get on it.
Yes.
Can't see them off camera over there, but the dogs have all got their noses in the air. They're like, we smell something cooking. Now, something interesting, if you have not checked out Billy and William's permaculture pimpcast, pimp meaning permaculture is my passion, but the permaculture pimpcast, they were talking about heating sources, And you could see that heat coming off of this. There are people that will actually put coils of hose underneath and use compost to heat their water. And there's a way you can also use that to heat your houses. And anyway, that heat doesn't just have to be for compost. There are other ways you can use that. But they were talking about that on yesterday's edition of the Permaculture Pimpcast podcast. It's really cool. You should check them out. Here come the chickens.
Oh, yep.
The chickens seem to know when we're turning compost piles too.
Oh, they want their
They just want their dinner, yeah. Okay, so before I started recording, that pile, that cage was completely empty. They had pecked through, thrown it all out. So I went through and gathered it all up, and you can see it's just falling apart. So I piled it all back up in there and added some of the leaves that have blown in, and Denise just fed them on top of there. So most of you either, I know you probably have a KitchenAid. And if you don't have a KitchenAid, you've heard of KitchenAid, which by the way, you should get a KitchenAid mixer. They're the best. But some have KitchenAids, some have ChickenAids. This is our ChickenAid compost pile. You saw the hot compost pile up there. This is the one that the chickens help us with. But
now, one of our compost piles does have a lot of maggots. That one doesn't have any chicken meat in it. It still has some deer guts in it, so we're probably going to bring that down here tomorrow because it's got maggots and they can start going through it.
That protein is good for these guys.
And eating those maggots. But yeah, so this is part of what Billy called the chicken tractor on steroids. Our chickens are not in the pasture yet, but we can take advantage of the compost.
That's right.
And as we've talked about before, this compost, you can kind of leave it, just get in here once a week. I usually do twice a week. But since we're talking about compost, we wanted to give you an update on how the chicken compost is done. And this will be our, what, 6th compost pile?
At least, yeah.
Yeah, 6th compost pile by the chickens. And usually about 5 weeks or so.
Yeah.
About 5 weeks or so, it's usually good to go.
Yeah, it doesn't get as hot because, like I said, they peck through and they throw it out. It's all over the place. And like I said, that cage was completely empty. And the only reason this one wasn't is because we had some viney stuff on top that they weren't getting through very well. So we pulled that off and away they go. Right, chicken? Oh. So anyway.
But yeah, so you can absolutely compost meat. Like I said, it's like your chicken innards, turkey innards, duck innards, deer, things of that nature that you can compost.
Parts and pieces. Anything that doesn't make it into your hot dogs, you can compost.
Hot dogs, huh?
Well, you know what they say hot dogs are made of.
I suppose that's true. But you don't usually make hot dogs out of deer, but out of venison.
Well, around here, I guess that's what most people do with the. They take the choice cuts from the deer, and the rest goes down to the. They put it into grind. They make it into sausages and things like that.
Made into sausage, yeah.
A lot of it's sausage, which is really yummy.
Yeah, but wanted to show you what we do with our deer innards, and we also do the same thing with our chicken and guinea and turkey innards and all of that. Well, turkey innards once we process. But you can do it hot compost only. Let us know if you've ever done it before, if you're going to try it.
Yeah, and pardon me, chicken. And pumpkin innards. It's Halloween's coming, so you know, for all of you out there that are going to be carving pumpkins, oh, save those guts. The
Chickens love it.
Chickens love it. And if you don't have chickens, you probably have a neighbor that does.
Yeah, this is left over from me getting the pumpkin ready to go. It's in the freezer, and we'll have pumpkin pie and pumpkin bread here soon.
Yeah, and we did find back in Arizona when we were making pumpkin bread, the white pumpkins were far better. A lot more meat to it and a lot less guts than the regular orange pumpkins.
Well, they were a little sweeter too, but I guess what we're going to try this year too, candy roasters. I don't know if y'all have heard of them. That's what people in Appalachia have used. It's a squash that's sweeter, and that's what they use for their pumpkin pies. So we're going to go ahead and give it a try this year, and we'll let you know how it turns out.
Yeah, there'll be probably a whole nother video on that because candy roasters are kind of cool.
They are kind of cool.
And they're huge. So,
yes.
all right.
Got to all of ours, but we got one. We got one, and then the rest we were able to find locally here. We were able to find some candy roasters that are going to go into our pumpkin pie and probably pumpkin bread, and then we'll plant more next year.
Sorry, I'm a little distracted. I've got Kitten over there pouncing on something which is cute. Decker up there rolling in something which isn't going to be cute, and Loki laying there chewing on something which in the middle of the night is not going to be cute either. The homestead life. So, anyway, all right, well, that's our compost update. Let us know if you have questions. Well, like we said, we're no experts. We're certainly not the permapasture farm experts, but we're learning from them.
We're a lot better than we were. That's for
right.
Sure.
What did you say? We are not.
We're not experts.
Not semi-experts.
Proficient. We're proficient.
We're proficient composters.
Yes.
So. Yes. All right. Well, make sure you give us that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And there is still room for next weekend's get together with Permapastures Farm and
Justin with Metcalf Mills and ourselves.
Yep. So hope to see you there if you can make it. Really will. It should be fun.
Yes.
So, all right. And we do still have comfrey for sale. It's getting to the end of the season, so depending on where you are, you might want to hold off until spring, but we can get some for you if you need it at renewedhomestead.com.
Yeah, we're working on some other things to have for sale at the homestead soon.
Yeah. Big plans.
Yes.
All right, everybody. Thanks for sticking with us.
Proud Mary in there.
If you don't get the reference, every time a chicken lays an egg, they announce it to the world that they have laid an egg.
Yes, I would love to do a video with a chicken clucking doing Proud Mary, but copyright laws won't let us do it.
Yeah, they won't?
No.
Well, then my other thought was we catch the audio and then we get a video of a construction worker coming out of a porta-john.
All right, y'all.
Thanks for sticking with us through all that. All right, take care, everybody. God bless. We'll see you on the next video.
Bye, y'all.
Don't forget to get the pet spayed and neutered. Bye.